Hi, and welcome to the A Quilting Life podcast. I'm Chelsi from Chelsi Stratton Designs.
And I'm Sherri McConnell from A Quilting Life.
And it is August 14th. My children are back in school. It's great, and we are happy to be here and have a very fun, creative podcast for you all today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the topics for today. First, we'll start off by mentioning our sponsor, Cozy Earth. And we love Cozy Earth. We appreciate them sponsoring the podcast. And we just want to remind you that you can give the gift of a good night's sleep with Cozy Earth. All their products are made from ethically sourced viscose from bamboo. I'm thinking quilting here. Their bedding is naturally breathable and temperature regulating, and we have really appreciated that this summer with the hot summer that we have. But also they have a lot of cute loungewear too that you can see on their website, shorts and joggers and all different styles of tops. And remember that you can get a 35% off discount site-wide with the code A Quilting Life.
Yay! Okay, so Mom has the quilts today, and they're gorgeous. So tell us about them.
Oh, I'm so excited to have. Actually, as soon as you left, after we taped the last episode, I put Coastal Summer up on the wall. So I've really had a lot of fun having this in my office when I walk in every day. But this is the medallion quilt that I did with Strawberry Lemonade, and I just love it. Actually, as I was making it, and I talked about this, we've already released that video, right, Billy?
With the medallion quilt?
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So as I talked about it in the video, but as I was making each section, I thought, oh, this would make a cute pillow. And then I added the half square triangles, and I thought, oh, that would make a great wall hanging. And then I added the next border, and I was like, that would make a fun one. So if you don't want to make the whole big quilt, you could actually stop wherever you want and have a smaller wall hanging or table topper size quilt. So I really love this one. Val Krieger did the custom quilting, and it is made with a fat eighth bundle. And then on the table, I'm really excited about this one too. This is my Season's Greetings pattern that I released with our Favorite Things collection, and I really wanted to show it in a non-Christmas collection. It's a jelly roll quilt, and my friend Nancy Lane pieced this for me. I was super excited to have her do this, and she does a beautiful job with the piecing, and it really is just a jelly roll and some additional yardage for your cornerstones and sashing and borders and stuff like that. But this one was quilted with a beautiful all over design by Marion Bott, and love this one too. I'm going to be able to put this back in the mail to Nancy this week. I'm sad to see it go, but yeah, it's been really fun to have it. And it has been hanging on the back of the door in the sewing room. And so I keep getting emails, what is that quilt on the back of the door? And this is it. So
I noticed on this the cute little flowers, and I hadn't noticed those before. Those are super cute. Oh. And then Nancy is just so talented. It was like a blessing meeting her. She is so talented, so kind.
Yeah. So anyway, fat eighth bundle quilt and a jelly roll quilt today.
I love it.
Guys, have any new finds or favorites today, or anything else new that you want to talk about?
Mom always has, I walk in and she always has fun stuff on the table. So, of course, they're books, you guys.
Yeah,
what do you have?
They kind of go along with our discussion later.
Oh, okay. So it's for later.
So
we're saving it for later.
Actually for later, yeah. So new finds and old favorites. I guess we should mention now that it's August that Bountiful Blooms will be shipping next month.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not too long of a wait.
Yeah.
Between, and that just goes to show with, the proximity of Favorite Things and Bountiful Blooms. Now we know why we were so busy last year, because those collections were so close, which means they are shipping so close together too. So yes, you will be able to get Bountiful Blooms very soon.
This is what's so crazy, is it just feels like this year has gone by so fast because of the collections, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And then now they're shipping. I know so many people have said, whoa, January feels like such a long time for strawberry lemonade, but it's going to be perfect, I feel like, to start off the new year with some fresh fabrics and
Right.
sew-alongs that we may have planned.
Right.
But until then, guys, you can sew with favorite things and bountiful blooms and all the fall and Christmassy things.
Yes. And really, January really isn't that far away.
It's not.
It seems like the end of the year goes by faster than the beginning of the year.
I'm trying not to think of that, though.
Yeah.
Because the first day of school, from when we're filming this, it was 2 days ago. And it was all of my kids went to school. I had my oldest is in middle school now. I did soccer signups. I did the whole thing. So I don't want January to be here
Get here that soon. Right. You want to enjoy the fall.
Yes.
Well, that's why they call it the dog days of summer.
Yes.
Just drags on. But then when school starts and football season starts, then
boom.
things move pretty quick.
But I am going to redecorate change out all my table. Well, I've still got 4th of July red, white, and blue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're
So
good to start
I'm going to
decorating.
put all that away and move into I think I'm going to just put the bountiful blooms things out. Because, yeah.
Okay, but I will say this. You really can't. Red, white, and blue is so great because you really can keep it up all summer. You could keep it up.
Right.
Yeah.
I like to change it out, though. Especially in our front room, there's a lot of light that goes in there. And so I feel like if I change things out every month, then nothing gets too much light exposure.
Yeah, you don't want that. Definitely.
Okay.
All right, so I will jump into the next portion, which is our listener quilts. And we have some really good ones today. They're always good, but I'll share a couple. And there's the second one I show, I think, might be the best picture that we'll ever put up on the podcast. So, okay, the first one is Emma's Garden, and read the email that went along with this and pop the pictures up. Hi, Sherri and Chelsi and Billy. I wanted to share my recently completed Emma's Garden quilt with you. I found these sweet vintage floral fabrics at a thrift store, and your pattern was absolutely perfect to show them off. I love the addition of the hand piece flowers, and I hand quilted around them so they would pop on the quilt. I took some good photos before it goes to a forever home to the friend who helped me start my sewing journey. So that's a good gift to someone that introduced her to sewing,
right? To
make this. And then she said we could share the pictures on the podcast. And thanks for all you provide to the quilting community. Looking forward to your bountiful blooms and strawberry lemonade collections coming soon. And this is from Lauren in Ohio.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.
And I know I mentioned this before, Chelsi. I forgot to show you these pictures again before.
I will go look at them.
Before we started recording today. But trust me when I say this one, the next one I'm going to pop these pictures up. I mean, the quilt looks great, but I've never seen pictures of a quilt with a background like this. So I'll go ahead and read this email so you can sort of get where she's at, Chelsi, and you'll have to see these pictures. So again, hey, Sherri, Chelsi, and Billy. Love the podcast episode about quilting on the go. I recently came back from a road trip from home on Vancouver Island, which is in Canada, to Alaska and back. So started in Vancouver Island, went up to Alaska and came back and took some projects with me. The first bit of the trip was a 16-hour ferry ride up the coast, and I took an EPP project with me. Now, what does EPP stand for?
English paper piecing. Like the
piecing.
grandmother's flower garden blocks.
Okay, that's what it is. So I had an EPP supplies. I had my EPP supplies in a small case as well as some basted blocks, and it was perfect to keep with me throughout the sailing. I also took a quilt that needed to be bound and was able to finish that while camping. I'll attach some pictures as we drove up to the Salmon Glacier, and I took the quilts in the wild photos there. The views are breathtaking, and those are up right now if you're watching this on YouTube. And even if you're listening, this might be worth going to YouTube to take a look at these pictures, because
I'm going to walk over there.
Yeah, you can come
on over. I'm going to walk over
yeah.
there, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think you should, and you've seen them, right, Mom?
Yeah.
Obviously, you sent this to me.
The email,
so she said, I used fabrics from the Kate and Birdie. She said, Gloria, I believe she's also a moda designer. So Kate and Birdie collection from Far and Wide, which is a tribute to Canada, and her other collection, True North. Love the podcast and all the fabrics. Just received my favorite things pre-cuts and cannot wait for Bountiful Blooms. And this is from Nicole. I'm showing Chelsi right now. You see that?
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that beautiful?
Look at that. On top of a glacier. And then there's, she was on the ferry, it looks like there. So
we sure do get some
this
beautiful.
Is the definition
Look
of
at
quilts in the wild.
Yes.
That is incredible.
So
That is incredible.
Go back to your mic and give more of
yeah.
a recap. But yeah, I think we appreciate all the listener quilts and all the great pictures we get, but I've never seen
Wow.
a quilt
Makes you want to go to Alaska.
on top of
my
a glacier. Huh.
Yeah, it's like you don't wake up one morning and say, you want to know what? I'm going to hike this thing to the top of a glacier.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was gorgeous. Holy cow.
And
That's on
that's
my
also
bucket list now.
The first we've heard of quilting while camping. You know, we talked about traveling on that episode and staying in hotels and doing this and that, but I mean,
wow.
she's out like she said, out in the wild, and that's really is wild country in Alaska.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Beautiful.
That was crazy. Holy cow. That's beautiful, by the way. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, so great job, and thank you for sending those pictures, both of you. Those are great,
Wow.
great photos to share today. And then, just real quick, I wanted to bring up a couple things from the past 2 episodes. First thing, real quick, is when we recorded episode 89, our last one, it was only a couple days after the previous episode had aired. So there were some more comments that came in, and I was going through them, and there are a lot of our listeners that also have hit a hole-in-one in golf. So quite a few, yeah, and they shared their stories, so I thought that was awesome. So I want to say congratulations to all of you, yeah, who shared those stories. I mean, we actually have quite a few golfers that are also viewers of this podcast, so quilters and golfers, and so
Must be a thing.
yeah, I guess so. And then from the last episode, one comment I saw that was interesting. Not even sure the name of who wrote this, but she just had a quick response to one of the topics, the linen topic. So she, and you guys mentioned some of this, but she says, linen is a woven fabric made from flax plant. It can be densely woven or loosely woven. Its texture comes from how tightly the thread is spun. So it can be a variation, I guess, of how, based on how tight it is. So tightly spun linen thread creates a smooth fabric, but a looser spun linen thread has more of a rough textured feel. And then she said, however, there are many cotton prints available now that have that linen look. And she just finished by saying linen prints provide a good texture / contrast for quilts. So I thought that was, she went a little more in depth with loose compared to tight with the threading.
Somebody else actually, I don't think I forwarded this one to you, but somebody else actually sent me a fun video with the process of linen being woven. Yeah. So
Interesting.
quite a few people responded on that.
Oh, awesome. Oh, good deal. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, and yeah, that was informative. So with that, I think then we're ready to jump into today's topics, right?
Yes.
And I'll let you take it away, Mom, because you sort of came up with that today.
Yeah. So I've been trying to plan out the rest of my year, and one of the things that was on my list the other day was to kind of make a list of topics we could talk about on the podcast throughout the rest of the year to make it a little bit easier so that we're not always scrambling for an outline. And it was interesting because some weeks were easy because of the holidays or whatever was coming up. It was easy to punch in a topic for that. But this one actually came to me. I just started realizing I've been thinking a lot about this topic lately. I guess beginning with when I read Big Magic, I have been just really kind of doing a deep dive into creativity. And I started reading this book. I'm about 2/3 of the way through, maybe 3/4. But Billy knows I'm reading this. It's called The Creative Act, A Way of Being, and it's by Rick Rubin. And unbeknownst to me, Billy knew who Rick Rubin was. He's a music producer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so Billy said, is that the Rick Rubin who's a and at the time where I was in the book, he hadn't talked about music yet, but he's actually talked about it quite a bit now. So it's been really interesting. But this book has been really, really interesting. It's very easy to read. The chapters are really short, and he just talks about short little topics that all relate to creativity. And so you can read a chapter in a few minutes because they are so short. And the passages are great. I have so many things underlined, and he talks about hitting a creative block. And it was interesting because in that section, he was using music as an example, and giving you all of these ideas, but it's so easy to translate them into quilting or cooking or whatever your creative pastime is. So I've really been loving this book. And then a podcast that I was listening to there were actually a couple episodes of the Greg McKeown podcast where he interviewed the president of Microsoft and started talking about the three. So I think he's the president, but then I think he's worked with three different CEOs, including
Bill Gates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he was just talking about how all the three different men that he's worked with, how they all had this characteristic in common, which was curiosity. And I thought that was, and he talked a little bit about how curiosity is related to creativity. And then another podcast led me. So I'm reading this book. It's called Creativity Incorporated. And it is by the president of Pixar Animation, Ed Catmull. And he talks a lot about working with Steve Jobs. And the book is, the subtitle is Overcoming the Unseen Forces That Stand in the Way of True Inspiration. But with that topic in mind, he's weaving in the story of Pixar. And
oh, wow.
So anyway, I've just been thinking about creativity and creative practices a lot lately. The other book that probably inspired this is the Twyla Thorpe book, where she advocates the morning pages technique and a lot of other things actually in that book too. But anyway, so I thought it would be fun to do an episode, long story short, on creativity and our creative practices.
I love it.
A quick note, because when my mom first brought up the Rick Rubin book, we were doing the Patreon Zoom meeting last month, and she recommended that in her group. And that's when I was like, wait, is that Rick Rubin, the music producer? Because I was well aware of him because I don't know, I'm familiar with his work in the music industry. And right. I don't know, I haven't read the book, and I don't know how much he talks about his career compared to just like individually breaking down songs or whatnot. But he has covered all genres too. That's the thing about him. He's done everything. I mean, wow. He did an album with Johnny Cash. He's done country. He's done hip hop. He's done rock and roll. He's about everything you can think of. And to have someone with that type of mind who can take pretty much any genre of music and make it, a hit record, it does go to show that he can really think outside the box. And he actually also has a podcast that him and Malcolm Gladwell, he does it. He met Malcolm Gladwell, got with his podcasting network, and then Rick Rubin and another man go out and they interview different music artists. And I've listened to some of those episodes. I sort of look through, and if there's someone that they're interviewing or doing a episode about that I know or listen to, I listen to those episodes. But so it's pretty neat. So anyway, yeah, he's very, if anyone knows who he is, he is a very talented music producer. He's worked with a lot of very famous artists.
Wow. Yeah, he never talks about himself really in as far as specifics with his career, but he gives you so many ideas about just being aware of the world around you and being aware of having the creative mindset, and he dispels all the myths, and it's just been a really, really great book. And this other one seems really good so far too. I'm just really early in beginning it. So I like to kind of start a book as I'm finishing one, and then I am partway in and I can just dive right in.
I have to say something about that. I noticed that you had pages, like
Yeah.
the bookmarks right there, and then
Right.
the other one. And I thought, how do you read multiple books at a time? My mindset is very like, I have to just read one book at a time. So just a little note, guys. I'm impressed by this, that it gives me an insight into your brain.
Oh.
This is all making so much sense for me right now. But I'm excited about this topic. Anything that has to do with creativity, I am excited about. And I had a lot of notes and things to write down. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
So we have kind of 4 little topics. Should we just start with those?
Yeah, I love it.
The first one is, and I actually came up with the first 3, and Billy came up with the 4th one, which I really like too. What are your favorite creative practices?
Okay.
Other than quilting.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's how I took it.
That's how I meant, yeah.
I mean, I feel like the safe thing to say is quilting, because
Right.
that's like what we're doing all the time. But there's so much more to it, and that's why I liked this topic, is because I like, say, design-wise. So designing was one that I wrote down.
Right.
But there's so much more to it than just quilting, because the process starts out with me drawing on a sketch pad, and I just sit at my desk and I just start drawing. And I don't know. I just start drawing, and whatever I draw is, so that is like a huge creative practice, because I should show you my sketchbook. Not everything that I draw makes it into the collection.
Right.
But there's pages and pages and pages of drawings. And so to me, that's a great creative practice, because I'm just mindlessly drawing, and
Right.
not everything makes it in. So that's something fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say, yeah, like designing, drawing. I like to color. Is that like so juvenile of me?
No, I feel like there's a lot of coloring books for adults these days.
There
and
are. I just like to color too. If my kids are coloring, I'm always
coloring with them.
I'm always coloring with them. I love it.
Chelsea's youngest
Oh,
colors so well. He never colors outside the lines.
Yeah,
Since he
no.
was 3, he
Yeah.
was coloring just like it looked like he was in 5th grade or something.
yeah, he's very particular
Yeah.
about things. But he's like that in like everything. His bedroom, like he likes things put in a certain place. That kid is hilarious. I love him.
Okay, so more creative practices for me. I would say journaling, I feel like is a creative practice that I like to do.
Yeah.
So it's relaxing and it's good for your mind. It clears your mind.
Yes.
Sometimes the journaling is more stream of consciousness. Sometimes I make lists. Sometimes it's just a brain dump. But I feel like all of those things help me be more creative, just the writing process.
Quick story. Mom actually started baby journals for each of the kids when we were younger. And we would just sit and read. And it's cool because that was a form of a journal.
Yeah.
And now my kids found mine. And they have been just laughing uncontrollably. It's really cute. So journaling really has been for a long time something of yours that is a creative practice.
Yeah. I wish I had written more in those books, but at least you have what you have, right?
There's some gems in there. Let me tell you, things I said when I was 2.
Yeah. As far as that, I think reading is kind of a creative practice. I really like also just looking at
I have that coming up.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. But it is.
Home magazines, decor. Going to a museum is the ultimate creative practice. I think it just really gets your mind going.
I've been to a few.
And then just sitting outside in nature, whether it's the mountains or the ocean.
Or a glacier.
Or even your backyard. And
that was incredible.
Yeah. Or learning to appreciate the things that are just around you. So
I love that.
Okay. What are your other, do you have some more on that list?
No, that's really the ones that I feel like I go to.
Okay.
But I like that you said reading though, but I have that coming up with some stuff. So,
okay.
So with all these creative practices, even though like you said, they don't tie right. I mean, the drawing sort of does for you, Chelsea, because when you're designing fabric, maybe some of those make it to your collections.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? But even though a lot of the other ones you guys mentioned don't directly relate to quilting, do you think that has influence on your fabric or pattern design down the road.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
go ahead.
Yeah, I think it just makes your mind more open to
Yes.
all of the possibilities that are out there for designs.
Cool.
So the next question I had is what are some ways to do a creative reset? And for me, this was easy because cleaning my sewing room
I didn't even think of that.
is the biggest creative reset for me. It seems like after we've been through a really busy period and there is just stuff everywhere that I would never take a photograph of, the best thing for me to do is to go in there and clean everything out. And then all of a sudden, I'm inspired again.
Yeah. I love that you brought that up because I wasn't even thinking that. I love that you said cleaning because they actually talk about this. Minimalists talk about this. You need to clean out your space because they've done studies, it just helps clear your mind.
Yes.
And then that is a creative reset. So I love that. I put take a break because that to me is, so I was talking to my quilter the other day and sometimes you're not going to get a fabric line from me. It's just not going to happen. But if I take a break from all things quilting or sewing,
Right.
I feel much better. And then I can whip one out just like that. So
How long of a break are you talking about? Like
Oh.
a day or a week or
No.
are you talking about hours?
it could be
Or it could be any, I guess.
It could
depending.
be anything. Yeah, it could be anything. There are some times, we've had times where we've had collections that I've turned in like 2 at a time, like right back to back. But then there's been times where I'm like, I just am not feeling it right now,
Yeah.
So it just depends.
Yeah. No, I think taking a break is really good too. I feel like right now I'm taking a little sewing break. We made so many things with strawberry lemonade, and then I've actually made a magazine quilt already that's at the quilters and 2 other wall hanging size quilts that are ones at the quilters, another one's going today. And I just feel like I'm going to do organizing really does help me too. After clean,
That's
there's
like the
cleaning
ultimate
and then
reset.
there's organizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be spending my time in the sewing room over the next week or so, just doing some organizing and not even, I have kind of told myself, don't sew for a week. It's going to be hard, but I'm not going to sew. I'm going to just organize and straighten things up and just kind of do a little reset.
I can just picture you. Her body's being pulled to the sewing machine.
Yeah, but I think it'll be good so that I can also really we have several months here where we can kind of sew what we want to sew. And I want to make sure that I'm sewing the right things with that.
I do have
time.
a fabric line that I need to be working on. I want that in early.
Right.
I'm feeling really good, you guys. I got all my quilts made.
Yes.
Mom made one. She bound them all for me. I'm on it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have anything else for the creative reset?
No.
Okay.
And I want to read the next one if that's okay. Because when I read both of these, I thought, well, they're similar things, but I did have separate things. It says, what are some of your best slump breakers? So creative reset and slump breakers, I feel like you could kind of pair them.
Right.
But to me, a slump breaker is I literally have no creativity in me. And I need to find something to kind of break that.
And if I could jump in real quick, because maybe like a reset is you're doing something, but you want to more change it up.
Yeah.
So that's like the reset, but the slump is where, like you just said, nothing. So you have to get out of that in order to move forward.
What do you do?
It's almost like a depressing thing, a slump.
Yes.
Whereas the reset is changing it up. Right.
And I for sure have felt that this year. And I have the perfect little story to tell, very quickly. End of the school year, I was just not feeling it. There was a lot going on, a lot happening health-wise, and just a lot. And I knew I had a little bit of a break before Strawberry Lemonade showed up, and I needed to start sewing. And so, well, it was probably already here, but I just still was in a slump. And I was not happy because my husband signed me up for co-ed softball. And I did not want to do this. And I complained and complained. And I had the most fun after we had our first game. So I won't go into softball because it was the best ever. But that's what I did. I was in a slump. I played a ton of softball. We made it to the championship, but we lost, guys. It was really sad. My husband's men's team won the championship, though. But that was really good for me. And I played basketballs on Thursday nights. And that was really good for me. And I felt like, and honestly, what did I do? I got all my strawberry lemonade stuff done. And I think that was beneficial. So I am putting sports and workout on here because I think those are great slump breakers. And then reading a book, because I think that's really important, is to just take some time for yourself and to do something that you enjoy.
I agree. I think moving physically is a great reset, for a daily reset, a weekly reset, as much as you can. I feel like it's just so good for your mind. And so, yeah, it was fun watching you enjoy your softball season.
They did come to watch.
We did come to at least one game, right?
And it was the best one for you to watch because I hit that game.
Yes, you did.
And I caught a fly ball in the outfield.
And we saw that. We were watching the ball and we thought, is she going to catch it? She caught it. We were so excited for you.
I was very excited because, it was crazy, guys. But
it was raining too.
It was raining, it was windy, and it was one of the best hitters in the league. Yeah. And even he came up to me after the game and was like, that was impressive.
Yeah.
So I am going to toot my own horn a little bit. It was probably luck, but...
I can attest. I never watched a game, but every time I came out here to record or do the podcast, Chelsi was usually telling us about her previous week's softball game. So I was like, she's really into it this year.
I'm into it, guys.
Yeah.
But no, it is good. I mean, physical activity is, I'll just throw my 2 cents in there too. All three of us have said it, but I agree as well. I mean, physical activity can help, either one, reset yourself or break you out of some type of slump. And I mean, something that we know more about now than we did, 20, 30, 40 years ago, is that these slumps also might be attached to different seasons. Sometimes people feel worse in the winter. Some people feel worse in the summer. It just like seasonal, it can be depression, or it could just be sort of your body doesn't feel as good in certain times of the year as others. And there's more, science and data behind that now. And sometimes, it's going to be there no matter what. But at the same time, there are things that you can do to help with that. And I think physical activity will always help with any of those.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, I just ordered a yoga mat because I really want to do yoga every day. And so hopefully this mat will help me to do it.
This is giving me flashbacks because when we still lived in Las Vegas, my mom had this little platform.
The step. Yes, I did step aerobics.
She did step aerobics. And I was like, that is Mom's little workout thing. And I still remember that. So this is hilarious that you now have it. Yoga mats are great.
Yeah.
Yoga's great.
I'm super excited. But I think those are all some really good slump breakers, some really good ideas. And then Billy came up with this last question. What other creative genres help inspire you as a quilter? I love this question.
Oh, I love this because I've already mentioned this, but reading I still am going to count this as something that is a creative genre that helps me. I feel like it just gets my mind going. But music is huge for me, and I love listening to music. When I am quilting, when I am cutting out a quilt, when I am designing, I am listening to music almost all the time. I try so hard with podcasts, but it just doesn't do it for me.
Doesn't resonate.
Yes, as much as music does. And somebody asked me the other day, one of my best friends what music do you listen to? And I honestly said everything. I actually listen to everything. It just depends what mood I'm in.
Right.
So I don't know, you guys. You don't know what day of the week, what kind of Chelsea you're going to get. But music is huge for me, I think.
Yeah, I usually start out with podcasts when I'm in the sewing room for a long period of time, or when I'm doing pattern shipping, because I can listen to that while I'm putting things in envelopes. But after a while, I do switch to music because there's only so much talking I think my brain can handle in a day. So yeah, I generally start out with a podcast and then switch to music. But I love looking at art and paintings especially, and home decor shows. I have my HGTV that I like to watch. So in fact, I had Chelsea's daughter here. Yeah. So
because I am affected now.
Yeah. So she was actually stuffing patterns for me.
Yeah. She's been enjoying that.
And so I just couldn't put any of those kids shows on that they watch. I just couldn't take it anymore. So I said, hey, how about HGTV? And sure, Grandma, I'll watch that. So and it happened that it was a Christina, I can't remember if it was Christina I think it was Christina on the Coast. Yeah. And they were actually designing a teenage girl's bedroom and a child's bedroom on the same episode. And so she had a lot of fun watching that show.
Oh, yeah. She came home and was like, I want to redo my whole room. Everything needs to be changed. Let's go to we have this cute little furniture store in town, and we know the owners, and oh my goodness, she wants a whole new room.
Yeah,
because
I'm sorry.
She's so excited. She's like, Grandma and I watched Christina on the Coast, and it was wonderful. And she's at that age too, like she's in middle school to where she wants.
It's fun at that age to think about redoing your room.
But I honestly was secretly super excited because I'm like, that will be really fun to do with her when we have the time to do it.
Yes. I think that's about it. Music, art, fashion. I think fashion can be creative.
Mom is over here inspiring creativity though, you guys, because the kids had a sleepover, right?
Right.
And she's over here making skirts with them. So fun. The girls are very excited about it.
That was fun. And Ashton actually did a lot of the sewing.
Good.
So that was really fun too.
Good. That makes me happy.
To see her. She wanted to make a skirt for her doll, and she picked out some Simply Delightful fabric for that. And then the next day, your other daughter came over, and so they needed a skirt for her. It's a cat, right?
Yes.
I kept calling it a bear, and they were getting so mad at me. This is not a bear,
It's Kitty,
Grandma.
Mom.
It's Kitty. So, I don't know.
This came, my middle child.
We might need is this a stuffed animal?
Yes.
We might need a picture to let everyone see.
Oh,
With the skirt.
I am sending a picture. It is so funny. So my middle child, bless her heart, has had this kitty, and it is just the cutest thing ever. And Ashton actually was over at the house, and she calls me and says, tell Harper to bring Kitty. We're making skirts. Like, it was like this big deal.
Yeah.
And Harper was so excited. So excited. So she has like a little cardigan that she puts on her. So now it has the cardigan and the skirt. Yeah.
Yeah. And I even made Ashton, we used elastic to gather the waistband.
You did?
Yes, and I didn't have some good elastic. I had this face mask elastic that is softer and not as
some good.
So I felt bad about that, but I had Ashton, put the safety pin on it and feed it through the casing. So she knows how to do that.
Good.
So yeah, it was really fun.
Wow.
And one of the things when I put fashion, obviously you could look at the fabrics and maybe see designs, but then also I was thinking, and I'll be honest, when I was thinking of like sports uniforms, so you look at different color combinations.
Right.
We
there's
are not
really
surprised.
good looking uniforms, and maybe
Yeah.
there's some that don't stand out as well too. But I was thinking, okay, also in fashion, color coordinating. So if you look at any magazines or shows or anything like that, I didn't know if maybe something like that could help. Hey, that's a cool color coordinate combination. I could implement that in a quilt or in my next fabric collection or something.
Oh, I've done that before. There's a online clothing shop, and they had some colors put together with this outfit, and I did the same thing. I went and actually pulled out the Bella Solid cards.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought someday this is going to shock the world, this color palette we're going to do.
Yeah. No, that's so true. You can find a lot of color combinations in fashion, in art,
Everywhere.
in home decor, everywhere.
Yeah, if Mom and I could walk through Living Spaces or Restoration Hardware all day, like we would probably find some inspiration there.
Definitely.
Tiles, and we could be there all day.
Yes.
Awesome. So anything else with the creativity or creative practices that you want to mention? Or
I think that's it.
Awesome. I think that was a good topic. So with the remaining time, and I don't know if this would have been that long of a topic anyway, but
no, I have like 3 things to say real quick. And
cool. So the second topic, that since it is, well, when this comes out, be the middle of August, so pretty much all across the country here in America, there will be kids are heading back to school, and maybe this will be relevant to some of you and irrelevant to others of you if you don't have kids still in the house, but it is relevant for Chelsi, not so much for my mom. But if you're a quilter and you just got out of, like we talked about, the dog days of summer, and kids are back in the school, you might have more time on your hands, and maybe you're looking at using that extra time to get some more quilting done. So we just wanted to talk a little bit about what do you do with, back to school schedules and taking care of some of the things you want to do for your hobbies, your quilting, but also, being attentive to your children's education.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I loved this because actually my schedule changed this year because all of my kids were in elementary school last year and my oldest went to middle school. So things are a little bit different. So I'm waking up earlier because she goes to school earlier. And we've kind of this week got a good little schedule going. But that was one thing I wanted to do because last year I felt like I didn't take full advantage of my work day. And I wanted to be really sure about what I was going to do this year. And so I set a schedule, and we have a really good schedule because my oldest now gets out of school earlier. So I don't have the full time between. I don't.
It breaks up your day a little bit more.
It breaks up my day more. And so I've been kind of shocked these past few days how quickly I realize I have to go pick her up from school.
Right.
So my key things would be set a schedule and plan out your next day. So I still have the top 3. I already had it prepped on my desk this morning, and I've already done 2 of them. So I have to go home after this and complete 1 more. Be consistent and stop working once they get home. I decide I am not going to work when my kids are home. And so they come home now and they read with my grandma on the phone. And then we do homework and we do dinner and we do our nighttime routine, and that's it. And I'm going to stick to it because with them being home this summer, what I heard a lot from my youngest, he said, "Mom, you're always work, 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 work." And I thought, wow, summer really makes it a little bit difficult because they're home all the time. But with them in school, I needed to have something more consistent. And so that's what I'm doing. And it's really hard, you guys. Everybody's situation is different as a mom. And so I'm trying my best, but this is great. And I had an Instagram post I did, and a lot of people left really, really good feedback. And the number one thing they said that they wished is that they would have spent more time with their kids. And so I really said, okay, I'm not going to work. The work is done. So I have kind of a shorter work day, but I feel like you can be really productive if you schedule out what's the most important things for those days.
Right.
So that's my tidbit, guys.
Yeah. No, I have a few thoughts. First, I was going to ask you, do you just plan your day every day the night before?
Yes.
And not on a weekly?
Yeah.
Okay.
You really do more in advance than me. I feel like I have a list, but then I will take the top 3
from
that are most important.
Yeah.
Or some that are important that can be done very quickly. It's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, first I was going to say with the back to school schedules, I still feel like so much of my life was on that schedule.
Yeah.
As a student, as a college student, as a
professor,
mother, as a teacher, I just feel like there's something in the air that changes when it's back to school, even if you don't have kids at home.
So you could feel it too.
I could feel it. I just feel like it's in the air, and it always motivates me to get new routines and new schedules when I get motivated. Oh, school's starting. I'm going to do better at meal planning, or I'm going to do better at this. And I feel like it's a kind of a natural reset. Even if you don't have kids at home, you can kind of feel it in the air.
I like that you're vouching for, I agree.
Yeah.
Because you have neighbors with kids. You're not seeing them out running around either. So it is different.
Yeah. And then I love what you said about stopping work when your kids are home from school. And I feel like that really applies to everybody.
Yeah.
Unless you live alone, then if you're living with anybody else in your household, whether it's your spouse, your partner, or a roommate, or you need to have time when you're not working, when you're in your home.
But I will counter the one thing, even if you're alone, I feel like it's healthy to stop work at a certain time.
Yes.
That would be healthy.
Right. And a lot of productivity people have said, have a done for the day list. In other words, when this is done, I can stop working and do relaxing things and more reading or
play softball,
watch your favorite series on Netflix or whatever. But I feel like it's really important to have a time to finish for every day. So anyway, just to kind of conclude this, I really do love this time of year. It's always been kind of a favorite time of year for me. And because of kind of the natural reset and the natural reorganizing, and even, like I said, even though I don't have kids here, I find myself resetting as well and looking at my schedule more carefully. And one thing that I've decided to do also, along with being better at meal planning, is I'm going to do a 4-day work week, and I'm going to take Fridays off every week.
I love it.
I'm being really, really intentional about that. And this is the first week, so hopefully
you'll have to tell me how it
goes well. Yes. So all of everything, I'm going to have it all done Thursdays, and, unless something comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, and I was going to say too, real quick, that there is something unique, that there is a change, and I don't have kids, and I used to be a teacher.
Right.
I could mention before, I don't do that anymore, but there really is something different about summer. And then when you turn it into the fall, whether you have kids or not, like I said, there's just a different feeling. I don't know. There's more of even if you have a full-time job that doesn't have a schedule change in the summer, I don't know. I feel like there's something just a little different. And then, that transition to the fall or to back to the school, it's just like a mindset change, at least here in America. And we have listeners from all over the world. So maybe you guys could leave some comments and let us know if there is a change for you as well with the seasons, as far as like the mindset of work or with hobbies and things like that. But I just feel like, you're more set on vacations or maybe doing some things that you can't. There's warmer weather, so you can pretty much do things, anywhere, unless it's too hot, like sometimes it is here. But, I think that might be it too. It's, in the middle of the winter, you can't go swimming. You can't do a lot of outdoor things if you live in a cold temperature place. So maybe that has something to do with it as well.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because I was actually listening to my friend Kristen Esser's podcast, and she recently went to Sweden for work and for vacation. And she mentioned how everywhere you went at the end of the workday, everyone was outside doing things. And she said because they know that the cold weather is coming. And so the whole country, she just felt like where she was, it was just a flurry of activity and enjoying the outdoors.
I love it.
Yeah, it was really fun to listen to her experience.
Deal. Well, I think those are sort of some more unique topics that we've covered. I mean, we tried to relate it a little bit back to quilting at the end of the day, but definitely things that we can all take away from and contribute it to whatever that we're working on at this time.
And one more thing, I just thought of this. I
She's
feel
so
like,
inspired.
I feel like this is a really good time of year to kind of nail down what you're going to be able to make for the holidays.
Yeah. Oh, for
And
sure.
So
Plan
because
that.
you know now that you have like September, you know, the rest of August and then September, October, November, and you know, hey, what can I really get done?
Yeah.
What do I want to give people that I might make? And so it's a really good time of year for quilters to kind of evaluate that.
Yeah. I love that.
Halloween will be here before you know it.
Yes.
Mom's favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So our next podcast episode will air Monday, August 28th. And I'm glad that we got to dive into more creativity stuff today.
Yeah.
So love your feedback on that. And
If you have any other books on creativity that you want to recommend, we always love book recommendations. And thank you so much for stopping by.